What's going on, everybody? It's Christian Johnson with Greenview Sports, and today we're going to cover the Alabama 2020-2021 season. But before we get into next season, let's talk a little bit about last season.
Rosenberg's punt goes back to the 23. Wow! I don't know how Waddle got away from that whiplash, and now he's coming the other way. Jalen Waddle across midfield. He's got a convoy. Waddle, he's gone. Touchdown.
The Tide had legit playoff hopes and title hopes last year. And unfortunately, they were cut to a little bit of an end, not necessarily with the loss to LSU, but after the loss of Tua. With the loss of Tua, it kind of took something out of the team, and once Mac Jones took over, not to say he's a bad player, he just wasn't the same as Tua. And the offense didn't look the same. They weren't as explosive. They just didn't look like they were the same team. And that showed in the loss to Auburn as well. So it kind of shows that Tua was a big difference maker in that team and how they carried themselves and how they played. But, even after that loss and, once they made it to the Citrus Bowl, Coach Nick Saban looked very happy with his team, dancing on the podium, wearing his hat backwards, looking like a young guy again. And you got to think that happiness and that smile wasn't necessarily about the whole game itself. It was how proud he was of his team, overcoming that adversity and being able to win a bowl game like that. You got to be happy whenever your team wins a bowl game because that's positive regardless. But knowing Nick Saban and knowing the type of coach he is and knowing the winner he is and the competitor he is, he got right back to the drawing board, trying to get back to the national championship game this season. And the biggest thing is the quarterback. It's not about who's going to be starting. It's more so about, is Mac Jones ready? Is he proven? Is he going to be able to do the job? And that's a question that we'll be able to find out in August. Unfortunately, we couldn't really get a good look at that due to COVID-19 because spring practice for all schools were canceled. So with what would have been a good look at Mac Jones this spring has to be delayed until August and, really during the season. So it's going to be interesting to see on how he'll come out in his first full season as a starting quarterback without any real practice or summer preparation with his team, which is a difficult task to ask of him. And honestly, if he begins to struggle, don't be surprised if freshman quarterback Bryce Young begins to take some snaps. I know most people were probably looking for me to say Talia Tagovailoa to his younger brother, but we just got notice earlier today that he has entered the transfer portal for the NCAA, and that is a whole different video for a whole different subject. So we'll leave that alone for right now, but definitely I can see if Mac Jones begins to struggle throughout the season, Nick Saban will look to play the best guy in that moment and start to get the young guy, Bryce Young, some looks and some reps in order for him to be prepared if his name is called on the biggest stage. We've seen Nick Saban do that before where he subbed into it in the national championship game and ultimately ended up winning the game. So he knows what he's doing. He knows when to plug in the right players. But if you start to see Bryce Young a little bit more, just know that Mac Jones' time is probably out of the window. But outside of just the quarterback controversy, you have solid players all over the offense. I think you have one of the most solid offenses in the nation, with Najee Harris and Brian Robinson in the backfield helping carry the load. And then you're returning Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle as well, two of the best receivers in the nation. And then you're also adding, a bunch of new guys and younger guys to kind of help and spell, like Tyrell Shavers and Keelan Robinson, just to help carry the load and make a difference throughout the season. I think both of those players will definitely start to make a name for themselves this upcoming season, especially Tyrell. He's a big-bodied receiver. He's hard to miss on the football field, and, once he steps on the field, you'll have to account for him in the secondary, especially in the red zone, because he's such a threat. So it'll be interesting to see how the season progresses and if, Mac Jones will stay the starter for the season or if Saban will look to go for the young guy and, prepare for his future.